Welcome back to Crypto Front. This is the front line where we are fighting together side by side for financial freedom. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the ZEBEC price. It's been a few days since my last update here, but really the thing is there wasn't much to talk about. As we can see that ZEBEC has been sitting on support ever since my last update right there. So now that we are beginning to make a move towards the upside, I think it's very important that I update you on what's what right there. But I think one thing that is very much encouraging to see here is that when you take a look at my right hand side here, a lot of things are in the green at this point, including ZEBEC, which is up like 9% on the day. And this is when Bitcoin is just up like barely 1%. So there is a shift that is happening in the market. I mean, it may not be as clear cut as people want to see it, but that shift is happening here. Money is moving from Bitcoin, moving into altcoins, and that's really something that we want to see. Now we've got a main event in the coming week here, which is the Fed meeting that is going to be held on the 17th of September. And there is going to be a rate cut decision, and pretty much the consensus here from market participants is that the Fed is going to be cutting. I mean, there is even almost up to like 12% that the Fed may even cut as high as 50 basis points. I think that's going to be a big surprise to the market, and we'll see the kind of reaction. So I mean, just looking at it from logical point of view and how this thing has been hyped for years and years, I think it's going to be much more like a self-fulfilling prophecy, really, where the market is just going to be shooting towards the upside just on the announcement of that alone, or maybe leading into that moment, meaning between now and Wednesday next week, we can have the market really rallying in anticipation of that rate cut. But honestly speaking, I really don't believe that rate cuts are necessarily bullish for the market. I think that constant low rates are the ones which are very much bullish for markets. But since this event has been waited for a very long time, I think even as far back as 2022, everybody has been saying that when the Fed eventually cuts, the market is going to be flying for sure, but maybe it's going to be taking a very short space of time to conclude the whole thing. I will be showing you obviously how the ZEBEC price is going to be doing and how all those things affect what we have been discussing here with ZEBEC. But one thing that we don't want to forget is that we have established here on the channel that ZEBEC is pretty much following in with what Stellar Lumens was doing back then in 2017. As you can see, the structure here on the right hand side is Stellar Lumens, and this is ZEBEC here on the left hand side. You see that the only thing that is missing for ZEBEC here is to go up almost in a straight line to complete its bull run, which is, I mean, very much optimistic and sad at the same time, because, I mean, what are we going to be doing in the bear market, right? But I think at least would have taken enough profits by them. So you can see that I have drawn here immediate short term, like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5 towards the upside here for ZEBEC, because this really has been a whole big work of accumulation and, Elliott wave counts from the very low that we see here. And if I may just redo that one more time, I'll go ahead and show you that from the low here, this is wave 1, this is wave 2, this is wave 3, this has been wave 4, and we're looking at wave 5 here now. You may be saying that, okay, why are we having like this thing deviating right there? It's just because even according to Elliott wave theory, I mean, within a big wave here like wave 1, you can have like some small waves that show up right there. So my thesis has been that this is wave 1 and this is wave 2 here. And we're going to be, I mean, we have already found a bottom, which I'll explain in a few minutes. But here we're going to be looking for wave 3, sorry, and then maybe a back test here of wave 4 to go ahead and complete, the last thing that we're going to be talking about here for ZEBEC immediate short term. So that's why you see that we have a little bit of a deviation here, but I'll show you that this is completely normal. And I'll go back to Stellar Lumens. So this is Stellar Lumens back then in 2017. And if I didn't tell you that this is XLM, you probably would be thinking that this is the ZEBEC price set. And what I'm basically saying is that ZEBEC is right here. I mean, looking to complete this last wave here. You can see that, okay, even when you try to zoom in like this, you can clearly see like very clear waves like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 here, and then, a complete of wave 5. Then that's the end of the bull market, right? But this is very optimistic in the sense that, I mean, just this last move here for Stellar Lumens back in the day was as high as like 100x. So the question is, can ZEBEC go ahead and from where it's sitting right now here, pull off, almost 100x? That's a really big question to ask. But I would say that in crypto, we have learned never to say never, just because even if you take a look at, if you go back to what Stellar Lumens was looking like in 2017, you can realize that it had like a market cap of like $283 million. But if you come back to also the bottom of the ZEBEC price right here, which I'm saying that the fifth wave began, and try to take a look at how the market cap was looking like back then. This is like, I think it was the 14th of, or maybe the 25th of July, whatever the case may be, I've really forgotten, but whatever the date was, the market cap of Zebec was just about $277 million. So $277 million compared to what Stellar Lumens had back then, which is $283 million. I think these things are very much comparable. And if Stellar Lumens could manage 100x here, I mean, is it also possible or logical that Zebec can pull the same thing with a relatively similar, or we would actually say even a smaller market cap? Well, I mean, that's one thing that we'll never be able to know. But I mean, there is a possibility in which Zebec goes on to pull off the same exact thing, since it has been up until this point followed exactly what Stellar Lumens has done. I mean, if you didn't see this, I mean, take a look at it. This is Zebec on the left hand side, and then we have got Stellar Lumens on the right hand side, and these things, they look like twins basically. So we'll see what eventually happens, but let's get to my own price targets. What do I anticipate the Zebec price to do eventually here for me, where I'm planning to take my profits? Initially I had said like 1.3 cents is a good area for me to take profits. I would, still take some, but after looking at the Stellar Lumens chart, I think there is a great deal here, I mean, to Zebec. But let me show you what I think is a little bit much more guaranteed, and I'm making use of my Fibonacci retracement tools from the all-time high back to the local low that we have set in there, and I'm looking for a full-scale Fibonacci extension, and that is right around 2.5 cents basically, which in comparison, if we look at what Stellar Lumens was doing from that high until the local low, you can see that it was even exceeding all Fibonacci retracement level. So I mean, it's a little bit of a guarantee here, but obviously not all charts can pull off what Stellar Lumens did back then, even exceeding the whole thing. I have also brought up the idea that, I mean, should Zebec be able to exceed the whole scale? Now we're looking at price targets as high as like 2.5 cents, 5 cents, but I think by then most of my bags will be sold, to be honest with you. But we'll see what eventually happens by there. But I just wanted to let you know that everything is still looking good right there. We are holding support, and most importantly, we are still maintaining the Stellar Lumens chart that we had back then in 2017. And also from a market cap perspective, these things are very much comparable, and we'll see what eventually happens by this. So I think still 2.5 cents is very much in the pipeline, and we'll see whether that was too early to take profits, or maybe we could have waited for 10 cents, or maybe even higher than that, 20 cents. I've seen some people talk about those, but to each their own. I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you could, please delicately tap the like button, share the video with your friends and family, and I'll see you on the next one. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.